Hello, welcome back to my channel. I figured I would do one more video since I actually have makeup on today. I literally just got done watching Smokey Glow's makeup packaging that she hates video. Hers was very entertaining, so I figured I had products that I also don't like the packaging of, so I figured I would do my own version of this. So I will link her original video down below if that sounds interesting. That's what we're going to be getting into right now. Make sure you're subscribed, and yeah, if you want to see me be petty about packaging for probably 20 minutes, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into products. I have quite a few eyeshadow palettes, so maybe we'll do them at the end and do the other stuff first. So let's start off with lipsticks. I have a few examples. These are from Medusa's Makeup. I don't necessarily hate the component itself, but it's all black. And then the stickers are black and white. So you have absolutely no idea what the shade is, and you have to open them. And I have like 10 of these. So, and I don't know, they all have weird names. Like this is, I mean, red square. So, I mean, that obviously means it's a red, but this one is Rio. I'm not necessarily gonna know that that's an orange. Like I said, I have 10 of these. Could we put like a corresponding color sticker? Like the whole tube doesn't have to be the shade, I get that, but maybe a sticker on the bottom with the color, because like I said, I have like 10 of these lined up and I gotta open every single one to find a color, and that's very annoying. Another example would be Bite Beauty. They do the same thing. You've got a plain black tube with black packaging, and then you got to open them. These are minis, obviously, but they did come out with a holiday set that was monochromatic. So this tube is actually the shade, which I appreciate. Now, I don't know, maybe someone can tell me, is this a permanent change or is this just part of their holiday collection? Because I really hope that they start doing more lipsticks like this, because again, I've got like 6 black tubes, and then the 4 that I got this year that are the actual color. So again, I got to open each lipstick because I don't remember, like this is tannin. I have to remember the tannin is kind of a bricky plum shade. And that's just annoying when you have multiple lipsticks, and I don't wear them often enough to remember that, oh, that's the color that I like. For primers, I didn't have a ton. I've decided I don't really care. Like this is a mini Milk like blur stick. And then I have one from Iconic Beauty that's the same, like it's a dupe for the Milk. I don't really like this packaging. Like it's a deodorant stick. I mean, the product is fine, but I don't know. It's weird to rub this on your face. I have the same, and it's not because I don't like this brand, because I don't really like the Milk one either. Like I said, it's kind of weird to rub it on your face. The Milk one's a little bit thicker than the other one, but I don't know. I'm not a super, I'm glad I didn't spend the money and get the big one, because this is not my, I will use these because I have them, but I don't really like rubbing this on my face. It's just not my favorite packaging for a face primer ever. For face products, like I have a blush and a bronzer from I Heart Revolution. These are dupes for like the packaging from Too Faced. And again, it's just bulky. Like there's my hand, and they're thick. Like the heart shape doesn't really bother me so much, but they're thick. So they take up a lot of space. So I'm glad I don't have like the Too Faced ones too, because it becomes cumbersome to store a lot of thick packaging after a while. And then I have a few highlighters. Like speaking of Too Faced, I do like this diamond highlighter. This is the fancy pink one. I like the highlighter a lot. I am able to make this work on my skin. It's pretty. It shows up. There it is right there. It's a subtle, like more natural looking highlighter. But again, it's kind of thick packaging. So if you get a bunch of these, then that can become an issue to store. I like I said, I do like this product. It's just not my ideal packaging. Other ones, like I love Kaleidos's highlighters. I have 3 of them currently. I ordered the other 3, and they're actually coming out with a new collection in June that'll have 3 more. So if I have 6 and then I get 9, these are thick. I potentially am going to have to store these somewhere else because they are like, it's kind of rubberized. I like the packaging and it's pretty cool looking, and the product in it is good. I don't think you get a lot for the size of the packaging. This is Comet Catcher. I think this is the pink one. Yeah, this is the pink one. I love their highlighters, but again, like eventually, like if I end up with all 9 of them, there's going to be a space issue with these, and I'm potentially going to have to figure out somewhere else to keep them because they are so thick. So again, like if you just have 1 or 2 of them, it's probably not a big deal. But again, like I'm even 6, I'm like, where am I? I'm gonna have to reorganize that drawer. Where am I going to put those? And then when I saw that the new collection was coming, I was like, where am I going to put all of those? Because I have other highlighters on top of these. So keep that in mind. It's just kind of bulky packaging. And then like I have a Becca one. I don't mind the circle on these, but I hate that this is domed because it's hard to stack stuff on top because it slides off. This one is Prosecco Pop. It's just a pretty like gold. But again, and then I have the same issue. I have 4 minis and they don't stack well because it's the same dome and they want to slide off. I wish this was like flat. That would make it a little bit easier to stack and store. And then the last highlighter I'm going to gripe on is Jeffree Stars. Now, initially, when these first came out, I was like, oh, they're big. Like, that's awesome. You're going to have enough highlighter till the end of time, which you will. I have 4 of these. I had 5 at one point. I sent one to a subscriber, and unfortunately, it shattered, and I felt really bad. But I have 4 currently. This is, what shade are you? Princess Cut. It's just a pretty pink, like frosty pink. I like these. I use them. And I like that I have an even number. And they do stack well on top, but they are so big that they take up a big like circumference area. So I keep them in the back of the drawer together because I think having 4, I'm able to do all 4 together, and it's like the height of my drawer. So if I had any more, I'd have to start a new stack. But yeah, they are like, them being this big is like a blessing and a curse because you have a ton of product. But when you have a bunch of these, again, space starts to become an issue. So that's my only gripe with those. Thankfully, they're all the same size, and he kept them all the same size because that would have been super annoying to come out with like different sizes. And then I know the Supreme Frosts are all a little bit smaller component, but they're thicker. So then you get into that. Okay, now let's talk about the palettes. I'm just gonna go smallest to biggest. One that I have complained before, and I actually like thought about decluttering this palette, and it is because of the packaging. I love the shadows in here. This is the Too Faced Natural Eyes, the regular one. So there's mattes and shimmers in this one. I love the shadows. This is a nice, like everyday, very versatile palette. I've taken it traveling. The packaging is acrylic, so it's really like sturdy, but it's domed. It's not flat. This would bother me less if it was flat, like the bottom, and not domed on top, because I have shuffled this around in many drawers because stuff doesn't sit on top of it. So this thing is always like, has to be on the very top, and it doesn't like stand up well because it's acrylic and it slides. So this is forever being shuffled around because of the packaging. Yeah, if this was flat on top, so much easier to store. I do have one from Lunatic Cosmetics Labs, and it is not the shape. You're probably thinking that this heart, the shape of this doesn't bother me. It's a little bit wider than I'd like. I would have maybe liked it to be a little bit more narrow, just because if it was the same width as their Coffin palettes, it'd be a little easier for me to store this, but that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that the lid completely comes off. Now, I get the concept, it's magnetized. I appreciate that. But I now have a phobia. Like, I will never travel with this palette because in my mind, like, if this was in a makeup bag and something got wedged up against it hard enough, this could theoretically slide off. So it bothers me that the lid completely comes off, because now I won't travel with it because I'm afraid to. So I wish that the lid like attached somehow to it and didn't separate completely, because this is the only palette of theirs that I have that does that. The Coffin palettes have an actual lid, so that bothers me a little bit. I pulled out these 3 Tarte palettes. My daughter's trying to get in here. I hate these circle palettes with every fiber of my being. They are so cumbersome to store. Like, I think it would be a little bit easier if they were, she's mad because she can't come in, if they were like this size, like, what is this? The rainforest ones are a little bit small, but the circles are such a pain to store. These are palettes, and I really, really like, this is the one that I use frequently. And then this one I've had for a really long time, and I keep it because it's past the point that I would feel comfortable giving it away because of its age. And then the Sizzle palette I had to have, and I've never used it, but these are another ones like the Too Faced that get shuffled around because they don't store well. They're wide, so they take up a lot of space this way. It's hard to sit them like this because they want to roll, like they're just a pain to store. I hate the circle palettes, like with a fiery passion. I hate them. Not the product inside, just the packaging. Okay, we do have another Too Faced. I like this palette. I've talked about, this was in my palette, all about my palettes video. And I know this is why people did not get on with this palette. And this is probably one of the largest palette that I have that's the most problematic to store because of the size of the rectangle. I wish that there would have been a way like to make it smaller. And I think if they had gotten rid of some of the spacing in between here, they could have cut maybe a little bit of this off. Because if this was a little bit shorter, like here, and a little bit more, like if they had cut some of this off and had it be a little bit more, I'll just pull out Manny anyways, this size, it'd be a little bit easier to store, because the problem I run into is it's too wide to store like this, because you can see in comparison. So if they had made it just a hair smaller, I would have a little bit easier of a time with it. But because it's so tall and because it's so long, I can't store it this way because it comes up past my drawer. So it has, but I do like the product. But I understand that that's probably why people did not like this palette, because it is a big palette. It's like bigger than my face, and I have an issue storing it, and I have 5 like pretty decent sized drawers to put palettes in, so I get it with this. But the product's good, so if you have somewhere to put it, like if I had a shelf, I would probably just display it, excuse me, because it's pretty and sparkly, but I don't really have a shelf. Another one that would probably go on said shelf would be my Game of Thrones palette. I don't mind that this is thick. Like, I like that it's like a book and you've got, you know, the writing, and then you open this up and it's the Iron Throne. Like, that does not bother me. And the thickness doesn't bother me so much, because this could easily be a display piece. It looks like a book. What bothers me is that this is the shadow component. I wish this had a lid. That way if people, like, because I could easily put this part in my closet and just keep this in my drawer if it had a lid. But because it doesn't, you have to keep it together. And so then you've got this thick monster to try and store in a drawer. Like I said, if I had a shelf, this would probably go on it because it's thick and it is meant to be a display piece. But not everybody has room to store that or display it. So yeah, if this part had a lid, then you could just keep this, and this is a lot easier to deal with than this. And my very last item is my most favorite palette, which is funny that I'm complaining about the packaging because I love this palette so much. I'm pretty sure most of my subscribers are tired of hearing about this palette because I talk about it a lot. It is discontinued. I don't know why Jeffree Star discontinued it. I'm hoping he'll bring it back at some point. If you can get it on Poshmark, I highly, highly recommend it, but it is kind of annoying to store. I think the alien head would be a lot easier to contend with if, again, it didn't have these like 3D bubble eyes and it was like flush. Because I have, in my large palette drawer, obviously, like the last two I just mentioned are in that same drawer, but, and then the flap on it is very, very thin. Like you feel like this is gonna come snapping off at any minute. But the shadows are so good. Like if you like this color, like this is a neutral palette with some pops of color. It's so good though. Like I love this palette like dearly. This has my whole heart. If anything happened to this palette, I would be hunting it down. I paid over retail. I didn't pay a lot. I think I got it with shipping for like $75. People were selling it at the time for like $100. So I did get a decent, like there was a little bit of a markup, but it wasn't ridiculous. I would probably pay $100 if I had to replace it just because I love it that much. But yeah, it's super annoying to store. Again, if I had a shelf, all of my Jeffree Star palettes would be on there because Blood Sugar and Blue Blood are also kind of annoying to store. They're at least rectangles, but this is literally like the size of a human head. And again, I think I could get on with the shape a little better if it was flat. So again, it's hard to stack things on it. So yeah, a few products, not a ton, but yeah, let me know if there's any products that you have that you love the product, but you just hate the packaging. Leave me those comments down below. I'd definitely love to know what yours are. And make sure you are subscribed before you go. I have my first giveaway for June up on my channel. I got it up early so people could start entering. And my 1,000 subscriber giveaway should be coming soon. And then I will be doing a second regular giveaway in June. So make sure you're subscribed so you can enter those. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Eventually I will have my hair fixed in a video at some point. At least I have makeup on, so that's an improvement. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Come see me again, and hopefully I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, everyone.